While Inter's players celebrated as if they had broken free from the chains of sanity, their Barcelona rivals tried in vain to hide their pain, like children caught up in a play where everything had gone wrong. Gerard Martin sat on the lawn, looking nowhere, with that blank stare in which unspeakable tears are frozen. Next to him, having already surrendered to his emotions, Fermin Lopez walked up to him, drenched through the incessant Milan rain that had been pouring over the San Siro all Tuesday night, as if it wasn't going to stop. Lamine Yamal covered his face with the Inter shirt exchanged after the match, a gesture not so much polite as desperate. Rafinha stood with his hands on his hips, and his eyes were reddened, not from the wind. Inter reached the Champions League final. Barcelona were left heartbroken. Their dream of a first European final since 2015 and a treble in Hansi Flick's debut season died right at the finish line. The Italians again took a swift 2-0 lead, just as they did in the first match last Wednesday, and again, as then, Barca seized the initiative in the second half. They didn't just get back into the game, they led 3-2 with 2 minutes left in regulation time, but they couldn't hold on. The old wolf Francesco Acerbi's strike in extra time was like a dagger to the heart, fired at a moment when you were already celebrating victory. And then, in the 9th minute of extra time, Davide Fratesi scored Inter's 4th goal. The Catalans had no answer. The stands at the Giuseppe Meazza were shaking with jubilation. Inter fans were celebrating a result they didn't even believe in anymore. And in the away end, a different scene. Barca fans standing at attention, scarves raised, like the last chord in a symphony of faith and gratitude. Where others see the end, we see the beginning of a comeback, defender Inigo Martinez wrote on social media, attaching a photo of the same scarf-wearing fans who traveled to northern Italy, not just for a match, but for a test. Flick's team was not invincible, and even if the dream of a final in Munich is gone in the rain this May evening, this defeat is not a collapse, and certainly not a reason to talk about a crisis. This season has been more of a cleansing, after all the storms Barcelona have been through in recent years. Flick's appointment has been a breath of air that the team has taken in full force, and the young talent from La Masia helped exorcise the old ghosts all at once, everywhere, without mercy. Firstly, the very European stage fright, from which Barcelona suffered for more than one season, as if every away match was an exam without the right to retake it. They simply couldn't play on equal terms with football's elite. But that's over with. Not only have they healed old wounds, they are back where they once belonged. First up, Bayern. The same one that strung 8 goals on the scoreboard in 90 minutes in 2020 and left a burn on their reputation. Now, revenge. Victory over Munich in the new Champions League group stage is not just a result, but an act of healing. Then there's Real Madrid. Last season, 3 Clásicos, 3 defeats. This season, 3 wins in a row. An old enemy defeated, like in dreams where you finally catch up with the one who always slipped away. And even Inter, the same ones who took 4 points from Barca in the group a year ago, are now facing a team that didn't give up but fought to the last. Yes, Barcelona were once again left at the foot of the final. Yes, they crashed out of the Champions League, but along with that, they regained the respect of Europe, and that's worth a lot. For the first time in a long time, the name Barcelona again evokes fears rather than memories for their rivals. In these 9 months, they have discarded the image of a team broken by its first setback. This is now a team that knows how to get up from its knees. And not just get up, go forward. This season, they've pulled out 8 wins after losing 8 times. Against Valencia, Rayo Vallecano, Atletico, Celta and Valladolid in La Liga. Against Real Madrid in the Super Cup and Spanish Cup finals. Against Benfica in the first leg of the Champions League. They didn't just play. They proved that even Real Madrid can lose finals. And the most curious thing is that the fear of this new Barcelona became so palpable that on the eve of the semi-final, the whole of Europe was looking not at the veterans, not at Flick, but 17-year-old Lamine Yamal. Inter coach Simone Inzaghi warned the day before the match, "We will need to double and triple our guardianship." And so it was. As soon as Yamal got the ball, he was immediately pounced upon by 2 or even 3 men. It was as if the key to the final was hidden in his feet. And maybe it really is there, just not this season. Everything seems logical. The young Catalan bleeding the Italians badly in the first match, and the whole season is like a firework display with unpredictable volleys. And yet, If you look at the situation coldly, without emotion, it's hard to believe that the main threat to a club playing in the semi-finals of the Champions League is a guy who still has braces on his teeth and is not allowed to drive a car under Spanish law. Yes, it was a great team match, but not without its flaws. Flick's team made too many mistakes in the transition from attack to defense. Inter squeezed 2 goals out of those cuts and could have scored more. Physically, the Milanese simply outplayed Barca, and it was noticeable even without statistics, by the jagged rhythm, by the breathing of the players, by the way each contact was felt in the muscles. Barcelona's European campaign was over, and no matter how hard they tried to keep a fighting look, the blow was hard. Emotional exhaustion, accumulated physical fatigue, and the loss of key players to injury can all take their toll on the rest of the season. And already this Sunday is the match on which the fate of the championship depends. Against Real Madrid, who are second, just 4 points behind. A win and the title is almost in the bag. The only thing left to do is not to lose against Espanyol in the derby. A defeat and Ancelotti's team will be 1 point away with an easier calendar and, more importantly, a psychological advantage. But the fact that the defeat to Inter hurt so badly is in itself telling, simply because this team made you believe again. It's been a long time since Barcelona have had such hope, such childlike, naive, and therefore especially precious, when it seems that everything is now possible. It got to the point where even Aitana Bonmati, 2-time Ballon d'Or winner, star of the women's team, traveled to Milan in jeans and a Barca shirt, disappearing into the crowd of fans just to feel the atmosphere. Defender Jules Koundé, although injured, bought a ticket on a normal flight and flew from Catalonia himself to be at the San Siro alongside the team. They have little experience, that's a fact. Only 5 of Barca's entire squad have played in a Champions League semi-final before, and Inter have a whole group of veterans who have struggled against Manchester City in the final even more recently. That perhaps best shows where this team is right now. But, don't forget, this season was originally considered a season of transition. 17 and 18-year-olds are steadily making the starting lineup, and if this is a transition, it's scary to imagine what will happen when they gain strength. After the match, an Inter fan munching a sandwich at a kiosk near the stadium exchanged a few words with Barcelona fans queuing for a taxi. For Inter, this is the last chance to win the Champions League, he said, and with this team, Barca can win it 6 years in a row.